When I lift my voice, let it be in song, a defiant note in the face of wrong. I won't stand alone, we'll stand side by side, 'cause we know that love is always justified. When they try to divide us, it will only unite us. I lift my voice. When I lift my voice, let it be for good. Let me care as much as I know I should. I won't stand alone, we'll stand side by side, 'cause we know that love is always justified. When they try to divide us, it will only unite us. I lift my voice.
Hello to all who are watching right now. I just wanted to say before I get started, thank you for being here. We all put a lot of work into this service and are grateful that you are all watching. It has certainly been a crazy year. I remember last year when I was writing that introduction to the sermon, You Are Enough. Since then, we've all been through so much, and here we are again, the next youth service, and this year, we're celebrating Mother's Day. In honor of Mother's Day, today we will be sharing stories honoring women. As our chalice lighting, I will be reading a poem about Gaia. O goddess, source of gods and mortals, all fertile, all destroying Gaia, mother of all, who brings forth the bounteous fruits and flowers, all variety, maiden who anchors the eternal world in our own. Immortal, blessed, crowned with every grace, deep-bosomed earth, sweet plains and fields, fragrant grasses and nurturing rains. Around you fly the beauteous stars, eternal and divine. Come, blessed goddess, and hear the prayers of your children, and make the increase of fruits and grains your constant care. With fertile seasons, your handmaidens draw near and bless your supplicants.
Hi, before I start the story, I'd like to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Demeter and the abduction of Persephone. One day, when Persephone was still very young, she went to play with her friends and was discovered by Hades, who was immediately beguiled by her charms. Hades was just waiting for the right moment, and when he saw Persephone picking flowers, he seized the opportunity, opened the earth, and kidnapped her into the dark realm. Persephone began to scream so loudly that her mother Demeter heard her agonized cry and went into the valley to see what was going on. She began to search carefully, but she couldn't find her beloved daughter anywhere. So she kept asking everyone she met along the way, but no one seemed to know anything about it. Finally, Demeter decided to seek out Helios, the wise sun god, who happened to know the story and asked for advice. Helios was a kind god and felt compassion for the grieving mother, so he revealed the whole truth to Demeter. 9 days passed, and without any change, which drove Demeter to despair. She could neither eat nor drink nor sleep, and nothing blossomed on the earth, so that men and animals had no food. Zeus disliked the situation and decided to send his messenger Hermes to the underworld to seek out Hades. Hades was unwilling to release Persephone, but after all, it was the king who was speaking to him, so he was obligated to obey. So he handed Persephone over to Hermes, who took her on his golden chariot and brought her back to her mother Demeter. Demeter was so delighted to see her daughter again and cried countless tears of joy for bringing fertility back to the earth in this way. She hoped to keep her daughter with her forever, but during her stay with Hades, Persephone had eaten 6 pomegranate seeds and was therefore chained to remain in the underworld for 4 months of the year. This is how the seasons were created, and in the upper world, all the time Persephone was with Demeter. Demeter was so full of happiness, and the sun was shining and everything's blooming. All the rest of the time when Persephone had returned to the underworld, Demeter was in sorrow and nothing could grow. That was the time when winter set into the world. I hope you like that story, and I think that is a test to a mother's love.
Maud and the Dragon. A long time ago on the western walls of the church in Munsford, Herefordshire, was once a painting of the Grand Dragon. Above the painting was a very old poem. It read, "This is the true infinite of the strange, prodigious monster, which our woods did reigns in eastward. It by Glasstone hand was slain, a truth which old mythologists maintain. The dragon shown in the picture was a fearsome creature with a massive body over 12 feet long. A powerful tail, these pairs of immense wings, a terrible red mouth with a forked tongue, webbed feet, and scaled of green and gold. In the picture, its great wings flapped and its great tail twisted back, anger. However, according to local mythology, the dragon was not always so large or so threatening. One day, many years before, the image was painted on the church wall in the stretch of hilly forest northeast of the village of Munsford, known as Healy Wood. A little girl called Maud was out blackberrying. It was a warm autumn day. Suddenly Maud heard a strange noise and went to investigate. In the long grass blooms she found the most charming little creature. The creature was the color of the greenest grass, with gold flecks like the sun. It had a little pointed tail, and the most dazzling features were its flocking eyes, for they shone as bright as the stars themselves. Maud picked up the strange creature and carried it gently to her home. Her terrified father regarded it as a baby dragon, and Maud placed with him to kill it. Maud picked up the strange creature and carried it gently to her home. For her father resigned it as a baby dragon, but Maud pleaded with him not to kill it, seeing her great desires or relent, and allowed Maud to place the little reptile by the fireside. Here is lapped up a swim of milk. Maud went to bed, but could not stop thinking about the little dragon. Wide awake, she crept downstairs to see it. To her honor, she overheard her parents planning to kill the creature in the morning. Maud quickly put on her warmest clothes, for the autumn night was very chilly, and took the baby dragon into the woods. In the undergrowth, she made a mossy nest and promised aloud to come back and feed it and care for it. Maud kept her promise. She kept the dragon hidden and fed it on milk. For many years, she would slip away, useless, carrying out the elphead, and go to the woods and see the creature. So the dragon and the girl grew up together. But the dragon could not stay hidden forever. As it grew, the dragon developed a taste for meat and began to eat the local farm animals. It would leave its lair in the woods and rattles out along a nearby lane in search of cows. After it had eaten its full, it would go down the wood lane to the point where the rivers Reedy and Loggy joined to slake its thirst. The beast grew into a mastodon spread. It soon developed most of local catty, and sometimes the people who searched it out tried and killed it. Many brave young men tried to kill the creature, but few returned and none succeeded. The local people became too afraid to vacuum into the woods or to walk down the lane. Everybody, that is, except Maud, for however hungry the dragon became, and however strong its traits, it never harmed the young woman who had shown it such kindness. Then one day, a compound criminal known as Gaston offered to get rid of the dragon in exchange for his freedom. He had nothing to lose, for it was either facing the dragon or the phenomenon knows. The despair locals promised him upon if he could succeed. The threat of exhaustion and sharpened Gaston's wits. He knew he could never win a straight fight and needed to ensure that he had an advantage over the beast. A few hours later, the locals watched puzzles as he rolled a circular barrel down to the water edge. He jumped into the barrel and lay constantly waiting for the dragon to approach. The Aspers woke when the curious dragon went to look at the barrel. The criminal Gaston jumped out and plugged the sword into the heart of the dragon. With thousand cries, the dragon staged a little way up the lane before dropping with an immediate tug to the ground. Gaston followed, watching its death burn. He stood over the dragon victoriously, but he never lived to enjoy his trauma. For as he watched the trembling frame of the mighty beast, the dragon settled out one last mighty precious breath. The poison covered Gaston, and soon the man and the beast lay dead together. There were many celebrations in the local area, but seeing the one proud and fearsome creature slammed on the ground, the beautiful Maud could not stop her tears, falling for her childhood completion.
Our National Mother's Day became official in the U.S. in 1914, but traditions celebrating motherhood date all the way back to Egyptian times. There are goddesses, rituals, deities, traditions, ancient myths and stories, all dedicated to the beauty, the timeliness, the love of a mother and her presence in humanity. A more pagan sense of a woman's power is the triple goddess. The triple goddess essentially celebrates the three main stages a woman goes through in her life: maiden, mother, and crone. The mother goddess of this is the source of all creation. She is represented by the full moon and blazing sun. Her season is when the life reaches its zenith. The sun is hot, the fruit ripens upon the tree, and we make ready for the harvest. She is the mature woman within us who takes responsibility, makes commitments, builds culture and families. From her great loving heart flows endless compassion, as the river flows from the underground caves up to the mountains and back down to the sea. She is a mother lion who gently licks and cuddles her cubs, but will also protect them with intense ferocity. She is the great ocean that gave birth to us, gentle one moment, turbulent the next. In the cycle of beginnings, middles, and ends, the mother takes the central or middle place and orders the manifest universe. And she arranges every design, both seen and unseen, the starry constellations, the intricate veins of a leaf, the microscopic patterns of cells. She contains the elements of spirit, air, fire, water, and earth, dancing them all continuously in and out of being. In this sense, she is all three aspects of the goddess and contains the maiden and crone within her. She is life itself and passion, love, healing, and growth that surround us all. Of course, I just took that all from a book I got from my own mom. And even though this talks of the spirit of the mother goddess, every time I look at someone who is a mother, I can see that fiery spirit, that incredible power that resides in all of you. How every single word I have said applies to all of you wonderful individuals. And this takes us back to the origins of our American Mother's Day. Anne Reeves Jarvis, the mother of Mother's Day, started Mother's Day work clubs around 1850, which taught techniques to women in hopes of lowering child's mortality rate. This continues through the Civil War, honoring women from all sides of the country, no matter what side they were on. After the war ended, Jarvis continued her mission and furthered her workshops, turning them into Mother's Friendship Day. This helped build bridges between opposing neighbors after the awful conflict. After Anne Jarvis's death in 1905, her work was carried on by her daughter, Anna Jarvis, who ultimately got the holiday recognized on a national level. To think about the power of these women and their influence on society today, I think it's a surprise not more people know about these fantastic women. Then again, if I tried to name every underappreciated, amazing mother figure in history, I'd be sitting here for years. This all just goes to show that no matter where you are, what you are doing, or who other people see you as, if you're a mother, you have all this power, strength, and just pure, well, putting it from a teenager, awesomeness. And the truth, we're all raised by you. We're all birthed by a mother, which that in of itself is truly incredible. And most of us are raised with a mother figure in our life. Mothers are the creators, the spark in life, and the strength that holds us all together. Just speaking for myself and the entirety of the youth group, I want to thank all the mothers in mine and their lives for just being there, for raising us, for picking us up when we fell down on our bikes as kids, for holding our hand while crossing the street when we were 3 to keep us safe, and for raising us with the tools to go into life as teenagers. Building ourselves up from the ground isn't an easy task, and we're all so glad that you guys are there to support us through it all. And to all of you mothers and grandmothers out there that I've not yet had the pleasure to meet, thank you for building up your worlds and making contributions to our community. To all the mothers out there, you are greatly appreciated, and I hope you have a fantastic Mother's Day. You deserve it.
Once upon a time, many years ago, when the mighty Greek gods inhabited Mount Olympus, Zeus decided the mortal king Peleus should marry a sea nymph, Thetis. The wedding took place on Pelion, and all the gods and goddesses were invited. Only Eris, the goddess of quarrel and discord, was not invited, for obvious reasons. Wherever she went, she was spewing hatred and brawls. And after realizing that she was not invited to the wedding, she became furious. She picked a golden apple from the garden of Hesperides and went to the banquet, cloaked in invisibility. She arrived right on time for the feast, and went straight to the table where the Olympians were sitting. Eris tossed the golden apple in the middle of the table with the inscription, "To the fairest one." Immediately, 3 goddesses sought to claim the apple. The goddess of marriage and family, Hera, the goddess of wisdom and justice, Athena, and the goddess of beauty and love, Aphrodite. They began to argue about who was the fairest and most worthy to own the apple. They asked Zeus to choose, but he knew better. He did not want to upset any of the 3 goddesses. Instead, he came up with an idea. He told them that a mortal man, who had recently shown his exemplary fairness in a contest, was the most suited to judge their case. That man was Paris, the Prince of Troy, who, at the time, his true identity was unknown, and he was living as a shepherd on the mountain of Ida. The myth that follows is known as the Judgment of Paris. The messenger god Hermes guided the 3 goddesses, Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite, contenders for the apple prize, to Ida. They appeared before the stunned Paris, informing him of Zeus's will. Paris looked at the 3 goddesses, but could not decide. Each one of them offered a gift for the apple, trying to bribe him with his powers. First, Hera promised to make him the king of Europe and Asia. Then, Athena offered him wisdom and to become the world's greatest warrior. Finally, Aphrodite promised him the love of the most beautiful woman on earth. Hard choice, we know. Paris, after serious contemplation, gave the golden apple to Aphrodite, accepting her gift. Hera and Athena left the scene in anger, while Aphrodite revealed to Paris that Helen, the wife of Menelaus, king of Sparta, was the most beautiful woman on earth. After claiming his rightful position as Prince of Troy, Paris set sail for Sparta and arrived at the palace of Menelaus with rich gifts. With help from Aphrodite, Paris stole Helen away and took her with him to Troy. King Menelaus refused to rest until Helen was found, all due to the Apple of Discord. The most epic war of all time began. The Trojan War lasted 10 years. Eris certainly liked to make trouble.
In closing, quote from Peter Pan. It is the custom of every good mother after her children are asleep to rummage in their minds and put things straight for next morning, repacking into their proper places the many articles that have wandered during the day. If you could keep awake, but of course you can't, you would see your own mother doing this, and you would find it very interesting to watch her. It is quite like tidying up drawers. You would see her on her knees, I expect, lingering humorously over some of your contents, wondering where on earth you had picked this thing up, making discoveries sweet and not so sweet, pressing this to her cheek as if it were as nice as a kitten, and hurriedly stowing that one out of sight. When you wake in the morning, the naughtiness and evil passions with which you went to bed have been folded up small and placed at the bottom of your mind, and on the top, beautifully aired, are spread out prettier thoughts, ready for you to put on.